Good evening. You're going to get a second stimulus check and second stimulus package approved in the next couple of weeks. And now we realize why everything went so screwy in recent days. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is LALATE and LALATE Evenings. Hope you're good and safe. Boy, it has been an incredible ride over the last couple days. But congratulations, because we have really incredible, great news tonight. Only just tonight. In what is really going to be a two-part special. It's going to be this broadcast, and it's going to be followed by a half-hour special right after it. First, let me go over what I'm going to deal in this video about, which is the check, stimulus package, and when it's going to arrive and how it's going to arrive, and all the great stuff. Additionally, updates about FPUC 2.0. And then right after that, I'm going to go over why there's singularly one major person who's going to spearhead to get this done, and it's not a person you would have ever envisioned before. That's this special right after this, and explains stuff that I had never heard. I had never heard from another channel. I had never seen on broadcast news. It's an interview with the man in the Senate that explains why everything went so screwy over the last couple days. Boy, you got to tune into both of these broadcasts. All right, let's get right to the details. You're going to get a second stimulus check. The second stimulus check will land in your bank account, and it will land in your bank account in the next couple of weeks. It won't be next week, and it certainly won't be the week after that, but how soon will it land? The second stimulus check will land in your bank account about 10 days after there's an agreement that is passed by both the Senate and the House. And this channel earlier today delivered the incredible great news that the deal is going to start in the Senate most likely and move back to the House. Why? Because everyone knows the address of the Temple of Doom and doesn't want to go there. It's as simple as that. Mark Meadows delivered the incredible great omen, but it's also embodied in what I'm going to detail in the next video right after this one, that's special, that is going to start in the Senate, where all the forces align, all the planets are aligned, and everyone wants to get that second stimulus check out. There's a lot of incredible great quotes from senators, both Republicans and Democrats today, saying, what's going on? Just get the checks out, for God's sakes. That's just, just get the checks out. And so the $1,200 checks, if you're a single individual, married couple, $2,400 checks will go out. They will go out. I don't want you to lose face, because they are. They're not going to be there tomorrow. They're not going to be there the week after, but they're going out shortly. If it's a family of five, $6,000, one person. If you're minor dependent, $1,200 most likely, major dependent $1,200 most likely. That still remains one of those questions that's really not completely resolved because the Republicans wanted to pay you $500 and the Democrats wanted to pay you $1,200. Also, child support likely to follow how the Democrats proposed, which was not taken out for child support, but that does not preclude you from trying to recoup it on a local level in the courts. So there you go. FPUC will get extended. It's going to get extended, FPUC 2.0. It's going to come back probably at about somewhere around $400 a week. I'll tell you why, because, and again, I'm not speculating. I'm reporting the news. This is not my personal opinion. Hey, if I could give you $900 a week, I would. Because the Republicans don't see $600. I don't see $600. No one, most of the Democrats don't see $600. And if you didn't detail my report earlier today, I never saw this because I wasn't around then. I wasn't born. No, I wasn't around recording videos in March. The $600 for the first stimulus package was a rushed number. Unbeknownst to me, I never saw this history of where the $600 came from. It was a rush number that was pushed in by Democrats. Everyone was a rush to get this bill done, and they really just did not have a lot of time to figure out how much money they needed to do. The Congressional Budget Office just was sort of swamped in doing all the other stuff in the bill. Everyone knew they needed unemployment benefits enhanced, so they said, $600, let's just go with it. Well, this time around, they're just not doing that. They've taken their time. There's been a lot of analyst reports, I detail them on this channel as well, that I think it was like 60% of people who got $600 per week were getting more than they would normally get had they been employed. There was some. Now these were not a lot of wild reports, but just a couple of them, and that certainly gave the Republicans enough ammunition to say, "Hey, we're just not doing 600. They're not going to do 300. That's certainly out of the question." I mean, that's about as. That is about as likely as the Temple of Doom is passing out chocolates for morning breakfast tomorrow. They're probably going to do. It's probably going to land about 400, 450. Here's all the great news about what's going to happen with FPUC 2.0. It's going to be retroactive. So it's going to go back to the first week at which FPUC 1.0 last expired, late July. It's going to be retroactive. And then it's going to bring you up to the front, so up to the present day. So if present day is 3 weeks out from when FPUC 1.0 expired, you would get a lump sum of 3 weeks, bam, right into your account. If you're 4 weeks, bam, right into your account. How soon? That would be likely about no more than 2 weeks after it becomes law, because one, the state's computer systems have really ramped up and have gotten queued up to put in single numbers like 300, 400, 500. They can do it. They did LWA turnaround time very quickly this time just by putting in a single number, because they had done a single number entry line item 600, from March to July with FPUC 1.0. Then with LWA, they were able to switch it to 300 in the computer programming pretty fast within about a week. So they'll be able to switch it to 600 or 300, well, not 600, 400, shortly within about a week. And that's actually perfect because they'll get the funds from Treasury for FPUC 2.0 within that time frame. So, I mean, you could possibly see the money in your bank account within about a week, if not 2 weeks, after it becomes law. So really, really fast. But I want to warn you, I always tell you the bad and the good. I think there's going to be 1 week at least that you won't be getting a check at that time. You'll get it later for that week, but you won't be getting it that week. So LWA will expire. You won't get another LWA. You won't be getting FPUC 2.0 because it won't have been routed to you. So be prepared financially for that week. If you've received LWA, it will be deducted from it likely. So if you receive the $300, it will be deducted from, let's say FPUC is 2.0 is $400. Really great news. And then they're not going to do that $100 threshold of the executive order for LWA. That's not happen. So that's the great news. Hazard pay going to happen. It's going to happen. Eviction moratorium going to happen. Mortgage forbearance going to happen. I mean, rent aid is going to happen, but I'm really not sure where, because that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And so why is everything so different on a Sunday afternoon? This is not the first time things have changed a lot with this whole thing on a Sunday. But I gotta tell you, it's because of a few factors. One, in reporting this to you and getting you informed, you and I weren't really doing this in March, so we weren't abreast about what really went on to get the first stimulus package approved in March. And what I detailed earlier today and last night was that there was a lot of people involved in getting the first stimulus package approved. I understand it was much more rushed then, but we're not talking about 4 people in one room for 2 weeks. No, we're talking about 20, 40, 50, 60 different people in the House and the Senate, subcommittees, congressional committees, people analyzing numbers. It was a big rush of people. And that rush is happening now. There are congressional senators who are Democrats, congressional senators who are Republicans, who are absolutely irate as you are about waiting around, and they're just not going to have it anymore. If you're not aware, the progressive Democrats want to give you more money. They want to give you more money. They want to give you multiple checks. It's still there. The bill is still there. I mean, the Sanders, that Harris, VP nominee, that Sanders, Bernie Sanders, wrote that $2,000 bill. The bill's not $2,000. I wrote a bill that calls for $2,000 check every month for 6 months until the pandemic improves or until it goes down. And the Temple of Doom said, no, the dragons don't like that, so we're not going to do it. And that's basically what happened. Everyone wanted it. There was a progressive, there were Democrats in the Senate So here we go. We're back at the Senate. It would start at the Senate. It would go back to the House. It does not need her, whatever her name is, in my Mariah Carey voice, does not need her to call the vote. Apparently, there's enough votes to get this done. Mark Meadows talked about today. There's enough votes from both Democrats and Republicans in both houses to get this done. And then there's this. I don't try to be political, because this is not a political channel. This is the Purple Channel. But all these reports today and this afternoon and early this morning say that congressional people, whether you're a senator or Republican, or senator or a House member, a Republican or Democrat, or members of the presidential campaigns, all are trying to queue this up, get this done in time for the election. So anyone that's sitting there and watching and think, I'm not going to ever get a stimulus check, just not true. Anyone that's, sitting back and saying it's never going to happen, just absolutely not true. Anyone that thinks it's going to happen the minute, the election is over, not true. All indications now suggest that, hey, it has been used perhaps as a pawn so that it gets approved before the election, and that everyone, and I'm not just talking about presidential candidates, and these are the reports say, not my reporting, that they're going to use it to get themselves elected or reelected, that these congressional figures are trying to use it themselves to get reelected. I mean, who cares? I mean, I really don't care, so long as the money comes fast, like, now. That's the incredible, great news. What else? Well, the powers that be in the Senate have been talking to Mark Meadows, chief of staff to Donald Trump. And we're talking about both Republicans and Democrats. And I'll give you a teaser of what's coming up in that special right after this, which you really have to watch. The teaser is that the person who's going to drive this train for you to get the second stimulus package first and pull a trick out of the hat is ready for this, Mitch McConnell. I mean, things are just a little crazy, aren't they? I mean, really, aren't they crazy? Senator John Cornyn of Texas said, I keep on asking if he feels any fuzzy ears, but he can't feel any fuzzy ears right now. He says, in the past, McConnell himself has been a legislative magician, and has been able to conjure out a rabbit out of the hat when no one's looking. And I gotta tell you, we have trashed and tarred and feathered him, but all in the report indication this special which I'm coming up next is saying that you're going to get everything. If you don't know, if you haven't seen the news in the last 2 hours, because you've been watching the other shows on the show, of course, Mitch McConnell said stimulus checks have to go out right away. He said, this is insane. Send this damn stimulus checks out right away. His exact words, without the damn. I added that in. Then he also said, people that really are in need these stimulus checks right now. He specifically went on a diatribe and said, people who are hurting, that are lower income people, need these checks right now. And so if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, he is considering everyone. When this channel first started to pick up speed, this is the incredible great news. I mean, this should put a smile on everyone's face. When this channel first started to pick up speed a few months ago, far before we turned to 225,000 subscribers today, no one was reporting on people who are on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or railroad benefits. I remember the first video I made for you about stimulus checks, and all the comments were, I'm just not going to get it. They just don't want to give checks to people on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. I had viewers who thought there was actually an express exclusion that they would not get second stimulus checks. And so it took a little bit of time explaining, hey, no, they're not out to get you. They're not out to exclude you. It's just they made a bad bill the first time around, that first stimulus package. They did not pay adult dependents. And so a lot of people, like veterans, might be on their son and daughter's tax return because they don't have complicated tax returns. There's just no reason for them to have their own individual tax return. They appear as a dependent. And because of that, they don't get a stimulus check. Just because you choose to be a dependent on someone else's tax return makes no reason for you not to get a stimulus check. And so as you sit here tonight, the good news is that the person who can bring the Senate back in session, the person who's going to push the vote, the person who was interviewed by no less than, 5 news channels in the last 24 hours, talked about one thing in every single interview: stimulus checks. Can't be any better than that. Can't be any better than that. And he brings his helicopter just on time for me to talk about it. So as you start your Monday morning, and you join me tomorrow morning at mornings LALATE at 8:30 a.m., I want you to start renewed, refreshed, invigorated, feeling good. We're not going to talk about that princess of pettiness any longer. We're not going to revisit the Temple of Doom. We're not going to purchase any pumpkin spice latte that's named after her. We're just not going to do it, because what she had done was make a lot of us feel beat up, and that was her strategy. Well, today the strategy changed as Senate Republicans, Senate Democrats, the cabinet, the White House said, we don't need you, honey. We don't need you. Hi, Fox News. So with that, do me a couple favors. Hit like this button, like this finger, like this video. It really helps the algorithm. We've been doing really good today. It was probably our best day today in about a couple days. So thank you so much. Let's really pick it up. And let's get the subscribers going on. Come on now. Come on now. We slowed down subscriber count like the last 2 days after we did 25,000 in 1 week. That was really good. But our new goal, let's do this. Come on, focus. We see each other. Our new goal is 25,000 more subscribers in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we can do it. We can do this. 2 weeks. To tell your friends, have you subscribed? Send it to your family members. I had some really nice comments overnight. Someone said she's a newly empty nester because a lot of kids moved away, and she said I'm her extended family. So that was really quite nice. It's that personal connection I really love in the comments. I love seeing where you're from. Some people overseas or U.S. Territories, South Pacific. So it's always great to see where you're from. So hit the subscribe, hit the alert button, and then stay with me for that big special coming up next. I mean, you're gonna love it. I'm gonna love recording it as well. As always, have a great evening and take care.